Good evening, everyone. Welcome back, and I'm excited to start the next Map Labs challenge, Map Labs 21 Mega Mania. Currently April 23, 2026, and I'm back with my first stream after I'm back from vacation. I got sunburned pretty badly over the weekend, so apologies if my skin starts sloughing off of my face during stream. That's very rude, unprofessional. But I had a really good trip, and I'm happy to be back so I can get into the swing of Map Labs. The unfortunate thing about the timing with this Map Labs is that I used up the first 5 days of the challenge while I was on vacation, so I have a limited time budget, and I still don't have a very solid idea for the challenge. That was something that I struggled with a lot during the last challenge, which was there we go. The music is playing. Just making sure. The background music is the soundtrack from the mod Half-Life Diffusion. So during the last challenge tune, I was starting to think that you won't stream today. Oh, I'm sorry, John Doc. Welcome. It's good to see you. Originally, I had planned to play a mod called John's Campaign today. In fact, I should pull that up. I do want to play that. But I shifted my schedule so I could focus on Map Labs for the time being until the new challenge is done. So this was a mod that I was recommended that I was going to play. And it looks a little bit silly, but I've heard that the mapping is pretty good. Has some cool environments, so I'd like to play through that and give it my thoughts. But not today. Today we're going to focus on the Map Labs. There's currently about 17 days left in the challenge, and I'm just getting started as of this stream. I've been thinking about what I'm going to do for my map, but I don't have a solid plan yet. So today's stream is going to be a little bit more freeform, a little messy. I'm just going to try to come up with a good idea by testing out some of the ideas that I've had and seeing, are these ideas that we like? Do we not like these ideas? Do I want to do something different? It'll be mostly experimentation this time. The challenge this time is called Mega Mania, and the theme is mega structures. So, let's see. It's time to go big or go home, and if you're already home, it's time to go big or go homer. For this competition, we're looking to see mega structures and other colossal constructions, maybe a Warhammer-type super castle, or perhaps a dystopian sci-fi mega factory. Even a certain citadel thoughtfully provided by our benefactors will do. Indoors, outdoors, any setting, and any genre, as long as it's big and interesting. So immediately, this challenge brings my thoughts to the Combine Dyson Sphere, which was introduced in the Breen Grub fanfiction ARG thing, and as well as Epistle 3, the short story, I guess you would say. But there's always been kind of this idea that the Combine overworld that's mentioned in Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 2 Episode 2 is actually a Dyson sphere. So making a map about that is the obvious thing for me to do, because that's up my alley. But I actually want to do something completely different. I think with Toon 3, the last Map Labs theme, I took the theme too literally, and I spent too much time wondering about, like, what song do I pick, instead of just focusing broadly on the idea of music. And so for this theme, I wanted to focus on the actual theming behind the challenge rather than the exact wording of the challenge. And I think the theme of Mega Mania is about perspective and scale. And so I wanted to make basically a rat map. Like everybody's played one of those Gary's Mod maps or old Half-Life or Counter-Strike maps where everything is scaled up relative to the player. I thought that would be really funny for this challenge. Have you looked at the Half-Life reprocessing mod trailer? It looks amazing. I did see that. I saw it on the Entropy Zero Discord. It does look amazing. I especially liked a weird detail, I know, but I liked the pistol from Terminator, which was in the trailer. I'd like to play that. I will definitely stream that when it comes out. That's coming out this week, isn't it? I just realized. I won't stream it when it comes out, but I will stream it eventually. So the bonus challenges for this challenge are: your map makes use of 3 or more unique methods of navigation, like ladders, trams, and launchers. Your map includes a companion, and your map uses the 3D skybox in a unique, interesting way. I kind of want to make these the theme, rather than focusing on a mega structure. the mega structure will be a normal structure that is scaled up relative to the player. I think that'll be unique. I don't think that other entrants will interpret the theme that way, and it's kind of an interesting challenge because what I realized with that is that I want to somehow involve it in puzzles. I don't want to just make a map that's scaled up for the sake of it. I want to have that influence the gameplay somehow. So I want to have Minish Cap style puzzles where the player can go back and forth between the regular scale and the micro scale and like change the environment somehow. But that's a little bit challenging. Um, Again, I just threw together with a 3D skybox this little test map. It's not very hard to just use the 3D skybox to scale up the world around the player. And you can also scale props. I think it's interesting that if you scale up a physics prop, the physics properties do scale. Not something I was expecting, because scaling props isn't really used in Half-Life 2. But there is a problem where any spawned objects like Gibbs will be the regular size if you scale. And that applies to NPCs as well. If you scale an NPC and then they die, the ragdoll will be the normal scale. Just interesting things that I found so far. But I want to do this a little bit differently because I want to have the player be able to interact between the visible small world and the skybox world somehow. Model soldier toy, yeah, it's like the Army Men game, like that. I remember that. What was that even called? I'm gonna do this a little bit differently now. Get back to Hammer. Here we are. Let's start over. And this time I'm going to start in the real world, we'll call it, and I want to basically replicate everything into the real world will be the skybox, and then I'll copy everything into the scaled down regular. There's so many Army Men games. Yeah, I guess it's a popular genre. Maybe other mappers will do this for the challenge. Maybe I'm being Buzz Lightyear on the toy shelf right now. I don't know. I thought it was unique. Also, hi, Captain Haxray. Welcome. Good to see you. Soundtrack that's playing right now is the Half-Life Diffusion soundtrack. You're probably being unique for the challenge since I feel most people will go for a Citadel-esque theme. That's exactly why I didn't want to do that. Not that, you know, I don't like to base my ideas on what other people are or are not doing, but I wanted to do something that is different for, not just different for the challenge, but different for me as well. Because, yeah, my temptation is to make the Combine Dyson sphere, and maybe I will end up doing that. Scaled physics prop save restore is also broken without map-based pull request 462. Thanks, Sam. I appreciate that. And I'm curious, so I'm going to pull that up right now, actually. Base pull request 462. Oh, you opened that PR. That would make sense. Um. Oh, that's it? A one-line change. I should pass this to Blick. It's probably just in the queue because there's 66 pull requests open. But yeah, that would be helpful, and thank you for opening that. So for this idea, if I am going to do this, I probably, let's see. I think the method that I'm about to try will get around that problem. The Army Man I played was the one that has ants as an enemy. Oh, that's cool. It's like Helldivers. I don't think I ever saw or played that one. Here. Not gonna go too crazy with the level because today we're focusing on just the mechanics. Just a box will do for now. Oh, this is an RTS game. I was just thinking the other day, I haven't seen very many new RTS releases. Like, what happened to all the RTSs? It was such a popular genre when I was younger. I'm gonna spend way too much time picking textures for geometry that isn't even gonna be used. Try to keep it simple. Brick wall. The texture, yeah, it's 128 units tall. Okay. Third-person shooters. I played a Sven co-op map that was based on the Army Men games not too long ago. That was fun. This room is going to be too big, actually. I should just, yeah, I'll just do a quarter of that for now. This placeholder room. Why do I get analysis paralysis when I'm just making placeholder assets? This is just a test. Geometry doesn't matter right now. They're all in the 2000s release. They're trying to jump on the World War II shooter trend, but with an excuse to have it kid-friendly. I never really thought about that, but it is kid-friendly compared with other like military shooters of the time. And when I was a kid, I remember like my parents didn't want me to play modern military games because they thought it was too dark. So that totally checks out. Keep it simple. And for now, we're going to light this whole thing with one point light that's constant. So, there. Constant. Battle Realms, I've never heard of that one. What kind of RTS game was that? Hi, Vizzies, welcome. We're doing some rough prototyping for the new Map Labs. I want to see if this idea that I have is viable or if it's a bad idea. And if it's a bad idea, I'll pivot to something else. Helps that all they had to do is not have blood and incredibly simple textures for characters. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because the blood was a big thing. I know some censored games would give characters like green blood. Good like table texture, like maybe two. No, that's not quite the texture I'm looking for. Mega Map. You ever read Blame or any Nihei manga? I'm not sure what that is. I've actually never heard of that. What's that about? I'm using a similar like I guess you'd say mega build workspace that has all the assets from Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat, and everything. I'm kind of regretting that concept that I had from the last Map Labs because it makes it hard for me to tell what's just the basic Half-Life 2 textures. The Dynasty themed samurai and occult manga. He likes to draw mega structures. That sounds interesting. Oh wow, that is cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this would be a good reference. That's the one thing about this rat map theme that I'm not quite vibing with, is that I feel like I am missing part of the theme, because the theme is supposed to be about structures that are massive. You know, it's not just like just the sense of scale, but the environment as well. Texture I'm looking for. Okay, perfect. Oh, actually. Something simple. Trying to keep it simple as much as I can for right now. Um, do I want to have scale? I want some physics props. Just like before, I'm going to use the coffee mug. Making a rats map. That's the idea. I want to have a map where the player can transition between two states to solve puzzles, like the Minish Cap, kind of. Um, basically the idea. So let me put a teleporter. Need a teleporter here. Teleporter somewhere in the map. I'm gonna have to come up with a good design for the teleporter for this, I think. That's gonna be a major fixture. For now, I'm just gonna obviously use the teleporter platform prop, but testing. Hi, Bogey. Welcome. Good to see you here. Are you gonna enter in Mega Mania? Because you made an entire mod about mega structures. Interesting reflection. I always find mapping streams to be a more stressful kind of stream, because it always seems to me like I'm going so slow relative to how fast I think I should be going. I think that's a pretty common experience. It's like if I'm not being observed, it doesn't bother me that it's going to take me like 100 years to get this done. But knowing that I'm on video and people can see me fumbling with the editor makes it feel a little bit. It makes me feel a little self-conscious. I'm gonna add a Tesla orb. Point Tesla. One of the most weirdly demotivating things I saw was someone's series of trying to do Ultimate Chicken Horse for a 2v2. Wait, what is Ultimate Chicken Horse? Team Fortress 2 1v1? I see stuff that people post in the comp thread, and I have no idea how they're able to work so quickly. I feel so sluggish in comparison. That's amazing coming from you, Beef Bacon. Because your maps are so, like, incredible. Like, you put so much, like, detail into it. I don't know how you can... I think you must be pretty fast. Ultimate Chicken Horse is a 2D platformer whose gimmick is everyone gets to create the level as they go. I think I played like a VR chat port of that one time. That sounds familiar. How do I make a Tesla just start on? Need to fire an output to it? I don't remember. I haven't used one of these in a while. Starting to feel kind of rusty too. Order Tesla. Doesn't really matter. This is just like addressing at this point. Change antlion model to cockroach. I was thinking about actually having like baby head crabs as a main enemy in the map, and then when you're small, the baby head crabs will be antlions. It does have a start on setting, but it's not in the FGD. Judas. We'll just throw in a logic auto then. Very details oriented. I really struggle with gray boxing. Me too. It's like right now I'm just prototyping, so it's my gray box is like literally just a box, but that wouldn't be a very good gray box if I was actually intending to use this as the layout of the map. Right now, my goal for tonight is just to see, is this rat map idea worth pursuing? Does it work? You know, if it doesn't work, then I'll do something different. I have so many other ideas I can afford to pivot yet. But I would just want to like kind of see like functionally, is this going to work? Would it be fun if it does work? Because one thing I'm going to need to do is for every dynamic object in the room, I'm going to need to have a brush or some kind of, or maybe just like a scaled up version of the prop in the larger version of the world that follows the prop in the skybox. Because this is actually the skybox. It's kind of weird, but I know that I can do that using a, what's it called? I'm drawing a blank. Measure movement. A logic measure movement. This is an entity that was added in MapBase that lets you have an object move with regards to a reference point, and critically, you can scale the movement. So I can have large objects in the large world that'll be invisible. I think everything that's rendered will be in the regular scale world, and then the shadows, the mass shadows of these objects are gonna follow the object's movement. I'm doing my best to avoid excessive detailing. I have lots of arches and things that I want to make sure stuff more or less fits. So I'm placing props and doing some complex geometry. Are you doing it for this challenge? If you enter in this challenge, it's going to be awesome. I won't do too many more props other than the coffee cup because I want to keep this simple for now. But I need a mini teleporter here. Need a teleporter here. Mini teleporter. The mini teleporter is bigger than I remember it being. That's just me. So the gimmick will be using the teleporter to teleport to the mini teleporter, but everything that teleports will also scale down. I'll use this teleporter pad for simplicity. This challenge, yeah, let's go. I don't know if I'll finish by making okay progress. My biggest worry right now is settling on an idea, because I feel pretty strongly about this idea, but I also feel pretty strongly about doing a map about the Dyson sphere. So I'm like, oh, like I really want to do 2 separate maps, but I know that I won't even have time hardly for one map. So I really have to pick quickly what I want to do, and that's very stressful. Make male 06 mistake you as a pest and then attack you. No, I want to have like a companion who helps you solve puzzles and stuff. I don't know how that's gonna work yet. I will use a skip brush for this. Need to start encasing everything in brushes that will represent their scale. These are gonna have to be pretty closely matching the original. In fact, I might even just use props for it, come to think of it. Because I'm gonna need to have like a collision mesh. Pretty perfectly matches what the original was. Might not work. Well, we'll find out. I'll start with a brush. Why do some props just never fit on the grid? No. No way I'm gonna get that to line up on the grid. That's the best I can. I'm gonna send it for now. We're gonna see how this works. Right. So let's say the player starts here. Or the player will be like here. Oops. Way. Give him an HEV suit. We'll set up the teleporter here and here, and we'll see. We'll start with this. Okay. Don't want to overthink it. Testing. Seems times scale is bigger than I thought it would be. It's like, it's weird because I'm making the opposite of a skybox right now. Inverted skybox. Why did the HEV suit textures always look covered in blood? I think it's like a low resolution compressed version of the texture. I'm not sure why, like, I think episode 1 or episode 2 added that, and that's been the default for the SDK ever since. But yeah, there is a real texture for it from Half-Life 2. For why it's like that. Skybox. This is a weird map. So this brush would be called coffee cup mass shadow. Like a 32 pixel texture they accidentally added to the episode 1 VPK, and it's been plaguing mods ever since. That's kind of hilarious. So this is going to be prop dynamic that is scaled 2 times. And I also want to make sure it's like invisible. Start disable, right? Or even render mode. Render mode or start disabled. Start disabled. So I need like a teleport destination. In fact, maybe I should brush that part just so that I've got a feeling that model probably doesn't have a super accurate collision map. I'm gonna eyeball it for now and adjust later as needed. Working on my map for another mod I'm making at 3 in the morning makes me feel like an old man. I think doing anything when you've been awake for a really long time will make you feel that way. But what mod is that? Is that part of the same series that you made? Or is that a new project? I want to hear about it. Need teleporter destination. I'm gonna need to have a way for the player to get back, but I'll worry about that later. Really how small the coffee cup is? That big. So once again, we'll make that 16 times scale, but start disable. And I also need like a reference point. The reference point, which frame of reference does the reference point exist in? I'm already getting geometrically confused. Top secret, Area 51, U.S. government classified. Ah. You could tell me, but you'd have to kill me. I know how it is. Oh, prop. See, if I have, like... Entity to measure will be the coffee cup prop. Entity to move will be the mask shadow. Because the reference measure will be measured relative to this. Okay. Can I use the sky camera for that? Or should I make it an info target? Try just giving the sky camera a target name. I don't know if that will work. We might need to make a separate... I'm curious if it will work. The only reason I did that. Reference. Entity move will move relative to this entity. Okay, so I do need a separate reference point. Target. I'll be at the origin. Oh, I forgot that this needs to be the origin. Ah, my bad. This isn't far enough away. My map over a little bit here. If I do end up going with this idea, this might be one of the first challenges where I have multiple BSPs in my entry, because I think anything that isn't this room is going to need to be a separate BSP, separate map, because this is just going to get too funky. I don't have much room to do anything outside of like this active room. Once again, we're listening to the Half-Life Diffusion soundtrack. I should really put something up on the stream for that. So, I'm going to call this Origin. Oh, wait. There we go. Such a weird setup for a map. Target origin. In fact, here's a better idea. Why don't I make this brush visible? Also it can't be skip texture because that won't work. Why don't I make it like, I don't know, brick, so that we'll be able to see it moving if it's working or not. There we go. disable disable shadows on this. Shadows, yeah. Another thing I'll need to worry about is sound. How can I make sure that the sound uh, captures from this skybox world into the larger projected world? It's gonna be a challenge. Scale 16. Divide. Oh wait, this I think is actually the 1/16th because it's division. ENV speaker DSP shenanigans, exactly. Measurement type position. Can I get position and rotation? Okay, no. Let's see. Let's see how this works so far. There's another idea that I want to test out during the stream too, and that is the idea of mech combat. I feel like megastructures and mechs go together pretty well. Like Armored Core has a lot of like megastructure type environments because the world is scaled for the mechs. So story-wise, they have to justify everything being mech-sized. And okay, I'm gonna try this for now. The Mecha Kids toy. No, I think that would be a totally different idea. That would be like a total different environment. I wouldn't be able to do this idea and that one. Well, or would I? Maybe. Something to think about. Here is our little map. And so we have this coffee cup. Oh. Cool. Okay, so it kind of works. So everything that we're seeing is actually being rendered in the regular scale world, and we're just seeing a 3D skybox. One problem that I didn't think of is that there's no light being cast onto the player. A little awkward. We'd have to maybe replicate light sources across into this world. If I go back, I think some of Clem's maps do this. Ooh. I haven't seen any that have like physics across the two. That's so cool. Thanks. This is kind of proving at least that the idea is possible. I am a little nervous that this might get too complicated too quickly, but let's see what we can do. Oh, I'm going to pick this up. Move it over here. Right? Okay, now it's over there. And the brush moved with the coffee cup. This basically proves the concept. Feeling pretty confident about this, actually. So there's a couple things I want to try to improve. For one, I think I need lights to scale with the skybox. Does intensity scale? I mean, it depends on what kind of mode the light has, right? Since this is constant, I think we can just leave it the same. If it was linear, we would scale it up 16 times, but Quadratic. I actually don't know the formula. Scale this. So there's our light. We got that part done. Another thing I want to do is sound. Let's make some more props too. What props do you guys want to see? I want to do a binder. I like this a lot. Thanks. I'm glad you like the idea. I'm still okay. I'm really struggling because there's part of me that's like the Dyson sphere. Like I wish I could do this challenge twice because I want to do this. I'm like really passionate about this, but I'm also really passionate about megastructures. So I'm like, oh man. I know I'll feel left out no matter what I do. If I was super ambitious, I'd say I'll enter 2 entries, but I don't think I can do that. Might do a wrap-up 4, but it would be more than a wrap-up, right? Because I'm not going to start on one that isn't my main idea. It could do megastructures too. I really like this theme. Oops, what was I thinking? I want to down. Finish a project or do a map for a previous theme. I didn't know that. I thought the whole point of the wrap-up was supposed to be to wrap up something that you already started, but you didn't finish. I do have a few unfinished maps to draw from. Look at those rounding on that. Okay. This theme is a real winner in my book. Oh, there's like I wish I could do 10 different entries into this theme. Honestly, like the last theme, I had so much difficulty getting a good idea, and this theme, I'm like, help! I have too many ideas. Here we go. This is gonna be the brush. Do mass shadow for. Do this idea, but set it in a megastructure like a Dyson sphere or whatever. Doesn't have to be a rats map exactly. Have you played the original Prey? Yes. Yep, that is exactly what that would be. I like that idea a lot. I'm thinking about it though, because I feel like you would need things from Earth to be reference, right? Like if you're just in a megastructure and then this happens, there's no frame of reference for what getting smaller even means because you don't know about the relative scale of things. Like this is impressive because you can see how small you are compared to the coffee cup and the binder. Those are like your frame of reference in space. But if it's all like combine things, then there isn't really a reference for what being smaller looks like. But maybe there's some kind of middle ground. I need to think about that. So my idea right now for the story, and I don't know, like stories are so hard to do in Map Labs. Combine or whatever have taken stuff from Earth for study. That would kind of make the most sense, I think. My idea right now is that this teleporter is going to be a larger structure. I'm just using the pad for now. But there's going to be some big teleporter thing. And you're going to accidentally shrink down onto the mini teleporter. But then you're going to need to go into the big teleporter to fix it. And so the inside of the teleporter structure is going to be the mega structure. That was the concept anyways. And then I had this other idea of like, well, maybe if the teleporter is powered by like a Zen crystal or something, maybe when you fix it, you get teleported to some other world that's like either within the crystal or where the crystal came from, and then there could be a megastructure that way. I feel like that's getting a little bit off the deep end, though. The problem with setting up narratives is that we have so little time to actually binder mass shadow. We have so little time to actually set up the story and like follow through on threads and like write dialogue. Like I need like voice acting, and it's It's like, I don't think I'll get that done in time in 17 days. But I gotta try. But the idea that they're already in a megastructure, I think that helps, honestly. I'll think about that. That's really interesting. I could steal a twist from a map that I made. The jankiest map that I've ever published that I'm actually kind of proud of was a map for Deceptionville. Was it called Deceptionville? I think it was. The Deception Map Labs. Um where I don't even remember what it was called. What was that? What did I name that? It was a map where you basically play Among Us, and then it turns out at the end that you're not in a real place. You're actually in the Combine's repository, and they're running you through these simulations to try to get you to give up information. That was like the most weirdly ambitious map I've ever made. I don't think it really landed with people, but it was fun to make. It might have just been called Deception. Drawing a blank on that. I forgot something there. Okay. So I could set up a physics puzzle where you're just simply stacking objects to get yourself around different places. That sounds kind of fun, honestly. It's very simple, but it's like that would do the job, and I think I would enjoy that. I'm going to put people into Among Us simulation. Yeah, sorry. That probably made no sense at all, what I just said. I'm speaking gibberish. It was a map I made for a Map Labs. I think it was called Deception Bill. Was that with Run, Think, Shoot, Live? Yeah, it was Test Tube 17, Deceptionville. And, oh, no, my friend named it. It's actually a really good name. It's called Accidental Disclosure. It was a map that I made. It had voice acting, but it was just really weird. It was a weird map, but I am happy with it. And I just realized there was an entry in that challenge called Dyson, so it all kind of circles back to Deceptionville. A lot of the maps I made are very weird and janky, but I kind of, it's like I kind of love them anyways. I don't know how to explain that. Like, usually when I make a map, I'm trying to test out a concept or try an idea, and so it's like, even if my maps are really bad, I still kind of have fun with the process. You could come up with some two-way puzzles too, like you need to be small to do X, but you need to do Y while full size first. I bet you could get really creative with that. Absolutely. There's so little time. Like, I would like to do puzzles where you like put batteries into things. Only not non-mechanical simulation. Yeah. That's basically the idea. It was like all of these scientists were being turned into Combine hosts, like advisor grubs, and they were being put through these mental simulations to try to get them to disclose secrets about teleporters. And so you're playing this like simulation of a science conference, but you're actually a grub on the Combine overworld in that map. What if that is the premise of this map? I know I just spoiled everybody if that is the story that I come up with. But that could make it simpler to tell this story and also involve a megastructure. Food for thought. Um, Trying to lose focus a little bit. Okay. I should make more props like this. I want to move this to the world. I want to make another of these. I might end up making this like an instance. You can't really instance it because it needs to be crap. It needs to be positioned relative in space to where the original is. Boiling coffee, it's spill on the table, and you have to wipe it up with a napkin. It's funny. I like that idea. This isn't a coffee cup. This is a binder prop. Or prop. Binder. Binder mask shadow. Where'd it go? What other props do you guys want? We're gonna try to speed run this a little bit. Maybe I'll add like a cactus or something. But the Among Us map is what Bad Cop's green grub. I can't talk today. I'm sorry. Is experiencing. No, because you were a scientist in that map. You were specifically Laszlo, because in Breen Grub, Dr. Breen says that Laszlo is in the Combine repository, which I always thought was weird. Like, I know he was just saying that as like a joke reference to the line, like, oh, he's the finest mind of our generation. But it didn't really make sense. Like, wait, Laszlo was killed by antlions. How could he also be in the repository? So I kind of came up with this headcanon that maybe Laszlo was an escapee from Nova Prospect, and the Combine scanned him before he was, before what happened. That's just a theory, a game theory. I really like this idea of stacking props to make like a ramp. Maybe add more binders as well. Also, to make this easier, too much effort to be coherent logic to be game theory. I haven't actually watched one of those videos since I don't remember the last time I've watched one of those videos. It felt smart, and I think that's what they really wanted. That was the point. Where Laszlo escaped Nova Prospect only to be killed by antlions. Exactly. It wasn't theory as in theories about game plots. Theory was theory as in, is X thing in a video game possible IRL? That is more interesting, and I still like some videos in that style. So I can see the progression there from like science videos to just weird conspiracy theories about video game plots. How would you make Rapture IRL, and what would you need to make it possible? That actually sounds really fascinating. I would watch that. I might watch that now. The idea almost works too well. You know what I mean? Like, what's the catch? He did lean into pulling stuff that was said in game to get an idea of how the game was, claiming it was done, which slowly devolved. Okay, that makes sense. What's going to be the major issue with this idea? Had some NPCs. I have Alex walking around. Because of Matt Pat, I know how to deal with the zombie apocalypse IRL. Thanks, Matt Pat. Appreciated. I'd like to have an NPC pick up an object and set it down somewhere. Like you could have like your companion helps you solve puzzles. Particularly the idea that I'm going for. I don't know how feasible that's going to be. I like to be super negative, but on top of the half-ass game theory stuff, he was just doing stuff game series he never touched, where he did basic Google searches. Yeah, that's a lot of YouTube. I'm afraid. Like, there's YouTubers who want to make videos on things, but they don't have a lot of firsthand knowledge about it, and it can be kind of frustrating. I always like I wonder how many videos about topics that I'm not knowledgeable on are like that, and I just don't know. It's always a video on something that I know a lot about or that I care a lot about. I'll realize I'm like, hey, this guy doesn't actually know anything that he's talking about. He would do intentionally bizarre stretches as an excuse to talk about IRL facts or history. I remember a meme about that where it was like connecting Minecraft to like religious history or something. I don't quite remember what the topic was, but I remember it was just the funniest segue possible. Minecraft ruins to Islamic ruins. Exactly, that's what I'm thinking of. Uh, work on the audio, right? Supposed to be proving the concept, right? So, ooh, ran out of songs, didn't we? It was the Diffusion soundtrack. Let's listen to a different mod soundtrack. I'm gonna go with can we actually just listen to the Map Labs Halloween horror soundtrack? Soundtrack? I don't think that would be on YouTube. Um, go to my mapping playlist. Put that. Is that a little loud? That seems loud. I really wanted an excuse to discuss interesting facts about Islamic culture and landmarks. Yeah, that is frustrating at that point. Like I was watching a video about I really don't want to call out the video because it seems like it was well intentioned, But I was watching a video before this about lighting in Resident Evil games, like the recent remakes, and I got kind of frustrated because just a little ways in, I realized I don't think the person making the video actually knows anything about the lighting in Resident Evil. Like it was very well edited and flashy and like a fun video, but the information was very sparse and didn't really Crobat? Oh no, it wasn't. Although, don't even get me started. No, I would I would call him out. That's not who I was talking about. Somebody nice, but I would. Yeah, no, I don't like them so much. Let's see. What do I want to do about audio? Right, we want a microphone. No, you're all good. It was a safe assumption. So I'm worried that if it's a microphone in the center of the room, that it's going to collapse the audio, right? Does ENV microphone basically go stereo to mono? Like how does ENV microphone work? I've only used it to the extent that like I need a character in one room to talk in another room. I've never really used it for anything complicated. The Might want to use some of these DSP presets to make sounds sound different or scaled down. That could be kind of fun. Go target. Go target will be the origin. What is measuring mode? I think I've used this before. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Measuring mode or speaker mode. applicable in measuring mode. Speakers. Oh, it depends on the speaker. Okay, let's place the speaker. The ENV speaker is going to go at the origin. It'll be interesting if I do go with this idea, making soundscapes, because I imagine I'll have a different soundscape for the scaled up world. I wonder what that would sound like. Is this the right entity? I feel like I'm using the wrong entity for this. Big speaker. Because this has, like, response system stuff. I'm a little confused about that. If specified, the microphone will consider itself in speaker mode. Interesting. Wait. If speaker is in measuring mode, this is the name. Oh, okay. Wait. The measuring mode is just for hearing sounds. Raining in the morning is like hypnotizing you to fall asleep. It's true. I assume it's raining where you are, and it's morning where you are. That's right. We talked about time zones before. I think you said you were like, it was like either 11 or 13 hours offset from my time zone, I think. Right? Maybe I'm misremembering. Okay, let's just try this microphone thing. But I'm gonna need some random sounds. Like maybe, okay, what if we have some citizens? Right? Just gonna place some citizens. I should give them like an act busy or something so they walk around. Yeah, I'll have Alex start on one side of the room or something and then walk to a path track. I don't want to go too crazy with this implementation. We're just prototyping. Path corner. Path corner, that's right. Okay. Maybe I'll also have a sound come from the teleporter. What's a good like ambient teleporter sound? I'm looking for like a wub 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 kind of sound. That was loud. Sorry about that, guys. I do kind of want sounds like that. That's not what I'm looking for, though. This one is too intense, but this is kind of what I'm thinking of. Ooh. I don't like the advisor breathing sound. The advisor breathing sound, by the way, is the same sound as the antlion guard breathing sound. I still don't get Nextbot. What's the difference between them and regular Source AI? Nextbots, specifically, they use a nav mesh, like modern engines. So Source has a node graph where the level designers specify a graph based on nodes that they place by hand, and the game engine turns that into a graph that can be traversed, and then the AI can use search algorithms to find paths between different nodes on the graph. But a nav mesh basically creates a 3D topography where any point on the 3D surface, it's usually like a mesh. It's like It'll have faces just like a regular mesh. Any point on that face can be navigated to using math, I guess. And so next bots use a nav mesh. That loudest zap sound might make a funny alarm clock if you don't mind weirding everyone out. Hi, Boom Donuts, welcome. Xbots are also a lot easier to compute large amounts of. Yes, yeah, exactly. So like for the zombie hordes, they can all be computed at once. I'm not finding the sound that I want. Like I want like a electrical sound. This'll do. I mean, it's not what I was looking for, but that's like good enough. It is looped and it does not start silent. Start volume 10. You'll even have like a scene for Alex. On the flip side, Nextbots, while not necessarily dumber than Node AI, tend to be a bit harder to get them to do stuff like use cover. Yeah, I mean, how do they even compute cover positions on a nav mesh? I haven't worked with that before. That's a very good point.
So I see you've met Dr. Moss. This way, Gordon. Gordon!
Okay.
Gordon!
This will be kind of funny. Being a bit lazy, but I think I'll just have it play on a timer now. Some Gmod Nextbots do it, but I put Nextbot in quotations here because a lot of them use a mix of nav mesh and AI nodes. Mixing them sounds really interesting, actually. I've never considered that. Because that way you could use the node graph to like hint nodes, like cover positions, but still have them navigate off graph without using local navigation like they do. See how this works with the audio. Oh wait, one thing I forgot. Try this again. I want to try scaling the light because I don't think the light scaled. We'll just say 32,000. That's a bright light source. I don't know about that one. I don't think that scales right. We'll try it.
I'm not a betting man, but the odds are not good.
I don't think. Oh, let me pause the music here. I don't think the microphone is working. Where the microphone is. Hear that sound. See the Tesla either. That's interesting. There's certain effects that won't translate through the 3D skybox. Okay, that worked actually. What? Ooh, wait, some of these didn't rotate correctly. Namely this one. Not good. Rotate correctly. Okay, it does. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. The sound is coming from this direction because that's where the speaker is, instead of coming from relatively where the sound is. Okay. You're doing a Honey I Shrunk the Kids type map. That's the idea. I'm very shaky on this idea. That's why we're testing it out today. This is a prototyping stream. I'm going to see, does this idea work? That, basically viable. Why is this all the way up here? That could explain why. Oh, that. All right. All right at all. Yeah, this for some reason flipped upright. Do all of the props need to be, they need to start in a 000 orientation for this to work? I think that might be true. Antlions as garden ants. Yeah, I want to have like some smaller aliens that you fight. Feels like it would work best as a puzzle focus to make use of the bigger and smaller scale. Yeah, I'm thinking right now that it'll be stacking puzzles where you grow and then stack items and then shrink to like cross bridges and stuff. I think that could be kind of fun. Microphone thing is going to be a problem though. I think I should see if you can set the player as the speaker target. Does that even work? And will that just basically collapse the audio down to mono? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this will work. Will work. A goofy idea came to mind, the Guardian Lions, but at the end you get one to come back through the teleporter with bug bait to do a breakout of some kind. Like the Combine experiment idea. That's actually really clever. That sounds really funny. I'll think about that. No guarantees.
We were looking to join.
Yeah, that didn't work. Oh, is there scales the volume? Okay. 16 times. Scales the pitch. That could be kind of funny. Okay. Okay, so I realize there's a problem with this microphone idea. If I set the local destination landmark to the sky camera, it only offsets linearly. Like there's no way to scale the offset. Hmm. I don't know if there's a way to fix that. Not good. Okay, what if I just don't do that and I instead say the speaker is the player? This is gonna, I think this is gonna mess with the audio. I don't think this is gonna work.
Dr. Freeman, wait!
Oh, that didn't work. Also, the props need to be an upright orientation, I think, for work. Sure. Try something. I really need to get a teleporter working in the opposite direction.
I don't feel anything anymore. No argument there.
I'm gonna try rotating things. There we go.
I'm glad there's no kids around.
Rotate.
To see this.
Oh,
Let's concentrate on the task at hand.
okay. That seems to have worked. So I can like, ooh, I can jump on the coffee mug. It's actually kind of cool. The only problem is the binder is rotated. I think, like I said, it's that initial offset problem. Cactus seems a little janky. Maybe that's just the way the cactus is actually facing. Yeah, it is. Okay. Like, do the scaled up collisions work? No, they don't. If I go this way. This that doesn't work either. The NPCs are staring in horror. Did you rewatch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Yeah, I haven't seen that since I was a kid, actually. Ooh, one problem is if there's anything that's like an NPC in the scaled down world, one thing, lighting is janky, but also a couple problems. There's no shadows because the world is a 3D skybox. Also, the lighting is messed up. Lighting is really messed up. Yeah, that's not good. I don't think I can do any NPCs at this scale. Sounds are also going to be a problem. Is there any way to do sound? See if I can't pull up code. This is the Axon Pariah soundtrack. Now this is going to be Entropy 02's source code, but it's close enough to map-based for this purpose. I don't think an EMV speaker is what I think it is. I And actually, I'm kind of interested in this entity. I could use this. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. What I actually wanted was ENV microphone. Sick ass soundtrack. Yeah, this track is from Spencer, and it's amazing. I think this is the one. No, I'm thinking of Temporal Anomaly is the one that I think of as like the main theme, because that one's really cool. I'll go back to that one next. Yeah, this one. I'm gonna open a feature request for Map Base right now. Hmm. Yeah, there's no way to do this, actually. That's rough. I think I know how I'm gonna do it, but I don't like where this is going. I'm gonna need to put lots of tiny microphones around everywhere and just hope that the sounds... Oh, that's gonna be rough, actually. Can microphones move? Wait, I have an idea. First of all, I will open the map-based pull request, or not pull request, but I could do a pull request for this later. Issue. Request game. This be game or miscellaneous? I think this would be a game pull request. ENV microphone should have a distance scale. There's a huge spider on the wall. I don't like that at all. Or keep hearing these tracks on your streams, and I want to download some of the available ones. Yeah, they're on YouTube. This one is on Breadman's YouTube. Really don't like that huge spider. This feels relevant for the map. I might have to BRB just to evict that spider. Right behind my monitor right now. I don't like that. I'll be right back. Sorry. Hey, I'm sorry about that, guys. So normally, when I'm in the basement, the spider stays put because I have all the lights on, and I think they're afraid of the lights, or they react to them. But when I'm streaming, I have everything all dark and cinematic, so I just saw the spider like running back and forth across the wall. Don't like that. I try to leave them be if I can, but if they're gonna be disruptive, then I gotta get rid of them. As soon as I got my spider catching tool, the spider ran away, vanished. Waiting for it to pop up again. Destination landmark. Like... Spidey don't want no smoke. Yeah, exactly. I know they're harmless. Like, I really don't want to hurt spiders, but they're very disruptive to me. I try. That's why I try to catch them and like release them. But if they're like near my keyboard or like on my desk, that's a hard no. Bro, Loki just works with spiders in his workspace. Not usually. I mean, if I can help it, I try not to. It's because the weather just got warmer again. The spiders disappear in the winter, and then when it gets warm, they all like thaw. Where do they go? Do spiders hibernate in the winter? I've never quite understood that. Because you'd think they'd all go inside, and that seems like what happens for a few weeks or months, and then they disappear, even indoors. It's also because I left the house for a while. Um... Okay. So hopefully that will come back later and maybe I can write the code for it myself. I've contributed so little code to MapBase. It's actually in my opinion, a little bit pathetic. I use map base for everything, you know. I feel like I haven't given enough back. I've done like one PR for map. It's always kind of a joke to me when I look at like the one like line of code that I added to map base, and it's for left-handed view model support. I'm not even left-handed. I just thought it would be neat. Anyways, yeah. So we're gonna have to do a workaround for that. So what I'm gonna want to do instead is actually have the microphone and the speaker follow the player. So this might be kind of complicated, but basically we're gonna name this microphone. So this will be called a big microphone. Nope, actually this is regular size. Regular microphone. Then I think big speaker already exists. Is that like an info target or something? No, I think that's an ENV speaker, which it should be not the entity I meant to use. I also want to try out some other ideas before this stream is over. So I think pretty soon, after we test out this, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to try to do some mech stuff and see if that might be a better idea. I'm kind of vibing with this idea, I'm going to be honest. So I think this is probably the map that we're going to go with. I think we're going to roll forward with this, because it seems to be going pretty well, and I'm getting lots of good feedback on it. I was kind of expecting a reaction of like, oh, this is kind of lame, or like, what are you going to do with this, or this doesn't look like fun, but instead the reaction has been pretty positive, and I feel like most of the things I wanted to do are pretty possible. So, I think that, kind of settles it. I think if I rotate the brush, it'll work, but we will get to that in a second. Now we're going to focus on the speaker. Measure movement. We're actually going to measure the player's movement. Is that legal? I think we do that in Easy 2 for moving around the not hallucinations, but the temporal overlays. What's your reference? Gonna work. I don't know if this is gonna work. I will make it legal. Measure reference will be this origin, I think, actually. Entity move will be the speaker. No, because I want to move the microphone and the speaker. Oh, the spider's back. Wait, give me a second. Sorry about that. So in spider news, did you guys know spiders can play dead? I wasn't really aware of that, but I caught it and it curled up. It did the thing when spiders die, you know. I thought maybe I had accidentally crushed it. Then when I took it outside, it started moving again when I put it outside, so that's interesting. Other interesting spider facts, that was not the jumping spider. The jumping spider is still here and it watches me, and I don't like it. Anyways, we were working on microphones. Actually, two separate logic measure movement entities for this. Thanks for sticking tuned, guys. Sorry about that. This is going to multiply it by times 16. I think this actually needs to multiply it by... needs to divide by 16, I think. Oh. Yes. This is so confusing. I don't know if this math is going to work. But we sure are going to try it. I'm going to look at the speaker and the microphone.
Hey, it's Freeman. Let's follow him.
One.
Good call, Doc.
Gordon!
Yep, Gordon, that's my name. So here, microphone is still that way. That looks wrong. Hey, Cheese Dreamer. We're just prototyping right now. We're trying to see if this concept is going to work. And the biggest challenge right now is sound. But the concept that I'm trying is having a map where you use the teleporter and you actually get shrunken smaller. So you're going to have to solve puzzles that involve changing between two scales, kind of like the Minish Cap. That's Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. But right now we're just playing with it. We're just seeing what we can do, what we can't do. And one of the things we can't do is sound, apparently. I think I did my math wrong. Hold up, let's try it again. Let's put this at the player's origin. Starters. speaker, I'm going to move to where the player starts relative to that facial frame, I suppose. Good start. That. Listening to the Entropy Zero Uprising soundtrack now. What if I make these part of a logic template? Because these could start running code before the player is spawned in, and that would cause a bunch of problems.
Dr. Freeman, wait! We'll come with you!
The microphone over there. These are samples from the same collection that Half-Life 1 soundtrack used. I guess I'm not too surprised. Like, some of these might be... This is from CW, but some of these might be remixed from Half-Life 2 tracks. I like this one, though. Okay, what if I only spawned this after you used the teleporter the first time? Might not be such a bad idea. I have the 2 samples in the pack downloaded to my music app, so I recognize the sounds. Nice. Wait, but there's something I gotta do then. I gotta actually move these to be, okay, so this will have to go actually here. I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to get this to work. Oh, there's another spider. I can't believe there's more than one. It's getting out of control. back for now. Sorry about that. There's more of a spider situation. That one got away. Giant enemy spider. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You're a great community. Get back to mapping until we get interrupted by spiders again. This might kill the map, guys. I don't know what can I do if I can't get sounds to work, you know?
Hey, it's Freeman. Let's follow him.
So now we have the microphone is there. Speaker is out in real space. Stop following me. The microphone seems to have gone all the way over there, and we no longer know where the speaker is. Oh wait, the speaker is following me correctly. Okay, that's good. Where is... Try to figure this out. Where is the microphone going? Oh, the microphone seems to be working, right? Oh, if I get really close, sound work? This is from the Uprising OST. This is called Radio by Employee 8. How come sound isn't working? We're so close, guys. We're so close. Now, maybe I wasn't precise enough with my measurements this time, because I just kind of put them in roughly the same area and said it was close enough. Possible. Worried about the spiders that are at large. The jumping spider and one other one that are running around. Let's get rid of these. Maybe that's the problem. Speaker target player. That's not right. It should be... Oh, that's the problem. That's your problem right there. It needs to be the speaker entity. Okay, let's try that one more time.
We were looking to join you, Dr. Freeman.
And we hear... It came out of my left ear, which is not quite right. Where did it come out of my left ear?
Gordon! Gordon! Gordon!
It's like almost correct. Why is it almost correct?
Gordon! Gordon!
Ow.
Major fracture detected. Automatic.
Yeah, I did some math wrong here. So... Oh, okay, I need to get rid of this, I think.
Gordon!
That seems right. Hey guys, we've solved sound.
Gordon! Gordon! Gordon!
It's not quite attenuated right. Like, left and right are kind of hard to...
Gordon!
Yeah, I can't actually tell.
Gordon!
It's basically collapsed it to mono, which,
Gordon!
I mean,
Gordon! Gordon!
it's fine. It's probably fine. We're gonna set the Nope, that's measuring mode. We're gonna set the pitch scale to 0.75 because it'll be hilarious. We're gonna set the volume scale to 10, I guess. I don't know. Try it. Volume out of bounds. Okay. My bad. Let's try 2. I probably could change that with inputs, actually. I do like amplifier, ENV microphone. Set scale. Out of bounds. Volume scale 1.5. Has to be. Only be 1.
Gordon!
That's okay. What if we set DSP effects on it? Up to 9.5. And what if we said DSP be loudspeaker echo or explosion? To 8. Actually, is 57, I guess. Okay. Why is it called 8 if it's 57? The microphone set reset to 57.
Gordon! Gordon!
That's totally absurd. I'm probably gonna keep it. That's just funny. Pitch scale, I'll do 95.
Gordon!
Sounds too like radio static though.
Gordon!
If I go stand by these guys, will I hear their conversation? Excuse me, what are you guys talking about? A command to fire a NPC and dispatch response TLK.
To think all I used to want to do was sell insurance.
Okay. I'm starting to question my sanity a little bit.
Kids around to see this. If I
God,
could
I'm
live my
hungry.
life over again,
That's good enough. Interesting that the rotation of the cactus seems to have worked, but the rotation of the binder is offset by 90 degrees. Why is that? I used to love ripping people off. I would cringe so hard if it was my own dialogue in this map. It's already like a certifiably weird Gary's mod map. Why? This one is rotated. And that translates perfectly over to the object. I think I know what it is. I think it's because, okay, here's a thought. I think that the brush gets rotated and the logic measure movement starts. So the brush needs to be oriented as though it was at 0, 0, 0. That would make sense. Wrong way. Oh. X-axis. Would have been cool if there was like a miniature set of some architecture, which initially is very small, and then becomes a mega structure after. Yeah, and in fact, that's what I really want to do with the teleporter. That's like the way that I want this map to go is like you're trying to repair the teleporter, and the teleporter itself is like the mega structure. I think that would kind of make sense. Maybe. Maybe not. But I like where you're going with that. That's kind of the direction that I want to take this. Light doesn't seem to scale right. But I'll have to do some playing around with the lighting when I do this for real. And oh no, I'm small now. I'm going to look into Kleiner's random set of brutalistic architecture, which answers which answers the soul of humanity. That's kind of that's the idea. That's what I'm going for here. I'm not going to actually use Kleiner's lab because I kind of want it to be a unique location, but it's going to be a place like Kleiner's lab. In fact, one of my ideas for like the lore for this map going to be that this is a different method of teleportation, even though it's using the same assets for like the mini teleporter. This is a different method of that layer of detail. I like that. But this is a different method of teleportation than what Kleiner uses, because this is going to be basically like folding space time. It's like a warp drive. That's why it's able to do this and glitch out like this. But the teleporters in Half-Life shouldn't be able to do that.
This is bullshit.
Well, it is, actually.
Not that.
Yeah, that kind of worked. It rotated it the wrong way, but it mostly worked. Yeah. So imagine if I had like a lot of props on the desk like this, you could start to stack them and do puzzles with them. Yeah. I want to have an original character too. I don't know if there will be time for voice acting, but I want to have like just not the Half-Life 2 characters. I don't know. Because I think I will need custom dialogue just to explain all this nonsense.
You feel it? I feel it.
Yeah, me too.
That's enough out of you.
Hey, that's rude.
Finally, change is in the air.
Finally, changes in the air.
Don't say that too loud.
No! Okay. Good about it. You can have a whiteboard and explain everything. I am gonna have a whiteboard, that's for sure. I need to remember to delete the mass shadows when things break in the physical world. So volume is out of bounds. Oops. So far, I feel like this has been pretty successful. I wonder what the inside of the teleporter will look like. I only have a few ideas. I'm inspired by the inside of computers. They always look like little cities. And other than that, I want to use some combine devices so it can look kind of like a combine megastructure. Other than that, I still kind of need to get some ideas, I think. Yeah, so I think that's just about everything I've got for this prototype. I could keep making changes, but I feel like I want to test out some other ideas too. How long do we have? So I've been streaming for about 2 hours. That's a little short for a stream. I want to do a little bit more. I wanted to test out a completely different idea that I had. Although I'm leaning towards this idea at this point. I want to at least try it out to see where can we go with this. Stuff real quick. Okay. This is a rat map. This is working pretty well. That's our prototype. Now I'm going to switch over to another very empty map. Try something different. I wanted to see what it would be like to do mech combat. And so, my first thought was to scale the NPCs down. The problem with doing that is that ragdolls don't scale. Also, NPCs act a little weird at different scales, like their animations don't work. Sometimes they will run funny or something like that, or their navigation will be a little bit messed up. They work surprisingly well for an unsupported feature, but they don't work great, and the ragdoll thing is really kind of a non-starter for it. But then I thought, what if I just literally scaled the player? And surprisingly, that actually kind of works, and I didn't expect it to work quite as well as it does. So what I'm trying to do, let me back up a second. I thought when I'm thinking about mega structures, I think of the mech genre, because in mech stories, usually everything that people build is scaled up to fit the mechs. So that naturally lends itself to a mega structure type environment. If you think of like the launch bays in Evangelion, or like I'm not a big mecha fan, so like I don't know much about Gundam, but I know it has lots of oversized things. I'm thinking like the game series Armored Core has like large structures that are built for these mechs to move around in. And so I think it'd be cool to make a map about a mega structure that involves mech gameplay where the player controls a mech. So to try to prototype that, first I scaled down the NPCs. That didn't work. I tried scaling up the player, and surprisingly, it kind of works. Let's try it. So if I go to mech test.
Combine!
Got one!
It's funny the drop on the SMG grenade, because I don't feel like I'm like huge. Firing SMG grenades at them is kind of fun. My third person player model looks a little goofy like this, honestly, because the animations are slow. I also don't think that I can change the player move speed. This will be what? Be something. Yeah, I know. Sorry, links get censored. But So a few problems with this. I made myself a citizen so I can see my legs. I could be Gordon. Fire, player, set protagonist, Gordon. Okay, we're Gordon. A few problems. Melee combat is a little funky. I don't think... Yeah, NPCs can't melee you because they're not in melee range of you. You also can't hit them. Also, like, stuff like the shotgun spread doesn't scale, so... I don't think it does anyway. Does it? Yeah, it does actually. Wait, what? I guess it's because of the distance involved scales. That's interesting. So problems that I would have with this idea, I don't have assets. Like if I wanted to make the player control a mech, like in Titanfall, I don't have assets for a mech-sized gun or assets for a mech player model to make this work. I could change the player's footstep sounds, and I could also... I can't change the player's speed either. But this kind of works better than I would expect it to. Would there be a miniature city? Oh, absolutely. That would be the whole idea. Definitely, 100%. I mean, I could make it kind of hammy and have like the player, like the mech is the HEV suit. So you have like a giant HEV suit and then you get into it and then you control the mech. That would be kind of funny. I could see that actually. I could do that. I hate that this idea is starting to appeal to me because I like the other idea too. Like, okay. Put these guys behind a template, right? What template? You are the megastructure. Yeah, exactly. It's like the opposite of before. I don't think there's any way for me to reconcile if I wanted to do both this idea and the other idea. Those are different. Those are two different maps. I don't think I can do both. Well, this sounds kind of funny, actually. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Um, the broken HEV model. Model scale would be like, I think 5 times scale, right? And got brush-based ladders, right? Could potentially just like platform. So ridiculous. Cook. Let me cook. What are your guys' thoughts if I was to completely pivot and do this as my map? I'm kind of liking both ideas right now. How is the player gonna... Okay, wait. No, I didn't think that one through. Okay. I think that one through at all. I'll just... Ladder. I think it's too much work with the time you have. You can leave that idea for next time. Oh, but if the next theme isn't megastructures, I'm probably not going to do this again, you know? That's why it's so rough. Okay. That's kind of weird. Where was I? Right? Okay. Has anybody ever actually used the info player start model in a map? I don't think I've ever actually used it in a map before. Right now I'm just using it to get the scale right. This is 5 times scale. Model is player. Yeah, this one. Why does that 5 times scale look so much bigger than that 5 times scale? Clearly something's wrong here. Only as a jump scare. Supposed to be 4 times scale. The scaling thing seems very off. Anybody else seeing that, or like, am I just confused? Oh, I had the texture scaling lock on. My bad. Whatever. I'm not gonna worry about that too much more. This is gonna be cool. Wait. It's gonna be really cool. Hold on. Are you guys ready for this? We're gonna get some mech gameplay. Oh, I'm stuck. Stuck in a wall. Help. Oh, clip. I'm very stuck in a wall. Oh, okay. There we go. That's so cool. Wait a minute. Changing perspective is actually really neat. I could dedicate like the AR2 to only be the mech form, right? I don't know, guys. This kind of changes everything.
Ammunition depleted.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of struggling with this one, guys. Like, this also could be fun. They're both a little bit silly. They both could end up really fun. I think assets-wise, if I was going to do a mech map, I would use the HEV suit as the mech body itself, because that works. Like, that's something I could realistically have, and I could come up with a justification for why it looks like that. But can I still use the ladder? I can. That's kind of ridiculous. Okay. Oh, I'm stuck in the wall. I have to remove the ladders in order to do this. Okay. I'm not sure what I would use for the weapons. Like, what would a mech weapon in the Half-Life universe look like? Just a scaled-up AR-2? That seems kind of boring. Is there some kind of weapon from some game on the content list I could use to represent a mech? Because another thing I should try, I don't have the AI set up for this, but, like, fighting a Strider... Okay. That seems like that was a fail. Yeah, I think that the hazard suit works well enough because it looks sort of mechanical. Uh, is a base? Okay, I'm just gonna put this in a hammer. I've never actually worked with Striders before. Don't they need path tracks to be able to walk around? Standard Strider or the Strider that fights dog? I will give the player an RPG when they get the suit. It'd be kind of cool if you were mech sized and Striders were just like regular enemies. You didn't need explosives. I wonder if there's a way to do that. There we go. Oh, the Strider is still taller than us. I haven't changed the player damage or anything yet, so still take a lot of damage. Make Striders vulnerable to the regular weapons? That's a good question, and I do wonder if I could do that. Back at the source code. You'd use something like the SMG or the AR-2. Yeah, that would make perfect sense, especially if you have like a mech weapon. Strider Immolate do. Nothing apparently. Interesting. The player can get the Strider's attention by shooting it. I didn't know that. That's actually kind of fascinating. I think the Strider is hard-coded to only take damage from explosive damage. Maybe the weapon could have a filter for explosive damage. Beef Bacon says, I'll be going back to bed, but maybe you could change the HEV suit voice so it sounds like a loudspeaker, like it's Liberty Prime. Oh, that sounds hilarious. Consider the super gravity gun as an option. It would be amazing if the super gravity gun was like built into the suits, like that just represented like you just like picking up the enemies and throwing them. It'd be awesome. Yeah, Beef Bacon, I understand you have to go, but like, what do you think I should do between these two ideas? The shrinking teleporter map or the mech map? Like, I'm really torn between these concepts because I could do either, and I'm not sure which one would be better at this point. I probably should just get started with one of them. Might be able to use a damage transfer filter. Ooh, wait a minute, that's a really good idea. Try that. Is this gonna create a recursive loop and crash the game? It might. As for which idea, it really depends on how many puzzle ideas you have for the other one. As much as I like the idea, this one may or may not be easier to do in the time allotted. That's a good point. Because probably if I did the shrinking map, I would focus on only one puzzle, which would be traversing the player from one spot to another using physics props. That's the only puzzle idea I really have other than it being small to be able to manipulate batteries or something like that. Which isn't necessarily very cool. I don't know. It does lead me towards the mech map more. Oh, I broke it. That doesn't take any damage. Both great ideas. I like them both. Oh no, that makes it even harder. I'm having analysis paralysis. I think that's going to be my biggest task, is just like narrowing this down. Because it seems like one way or another I have to do one of these two things. But I also, like, I don't know how the megastructure itself factors in. I guess, like I said, it would be the teleporter if you're small, but that just doesn't... I don't know, something's missing. This is a tough one, guys. Yeah, I hope you have a great night, Beef Bacon. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you also for the great input. I really appreciate your input, because I look up to you a lot as a mapper. And also, I can't wait to see your entry. I lean towards the mecha idea. Is that because you think the combat would be fun? Ladders are still the worst enemy. I'll make the map more unique. You think other people are going to do rat maps? Yeah. Other enemies that would be fun to fight would be like hunters. If I finish it, I might end up being a wrap-up, but I'll aim for a bonus. I think the mech idea has the most potential to be fun and silly. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I might still go with the other one, because I was really feeling very promising about it, but now I'm like, either idea could go well, and I don't know which I prefer. Really struggling. What else can I test tonight? Because I wanted to test maybe like layouts, like make a little combat arena for the Combine. That one is in the Family Guy death pose. I'm starting to feel like I'm slowing down a little bit. Maybe I should end stream a little bit early, so that way that would give me some time to think about it. Yeah, maybe. I'm going to be mapping on Saturday. It'll be a shorter stream on Saturday, but I'm hoping to have a burst of productivity. But by Saturday, I should know exactly what I'm doing. So, like, with a map like this, I can draw from a lot of, like, mecha anime, like Evangelion I mentioned, I haven't watched many other mecha shows like Gundam, but I know there are lots of them. Next time is going to be tiny structure competition, and you can put the first idea into it. That's true. It's never completely gone. There will always be more opportunities, but this challenge feels so uniquely suited for this idea. Okay, so trying to think what can I prototype next, because I'm starting to run out of steam here, but I'm thinking melee attacks would be cool if I could get it to work, but your melee range doesn't really scale with your size. Like, if I look at, like, weapon crowbar, right? Naturally occurring Family Guy death pose, yeah. Wait, sorry. I'm clearly losing focus here. The distance that you can attack always going to be the same. I can't fix melee attacks, I don't think. So if I did a mech map using this scaling function, I would have to remove melee from the equation. Even like enemies meleeing you. You could potentially have if like, yeah, they can't melee you. Although they don't seem to mind very much that they can't melee you. Can I not damage myself with my own grenades? Wait. I don't think grenades hurt me because the radius is too low. Yeah, that's funny. I'm unintentionally immune to grenades unless I crouch. Blast damage works like that. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna try moving him further away from the wall. Maybe moving the player spawn up a little bit. Be a little bit further away from that too. And what happens if I make a trigger underneath the player that'll hurt other NPCs? Table and set parent. It's interesting. Don't hurt the player, hurt NPCs, physics objects. This could be a lot of fun. Here's toggle. I think get a little bit longer. That maybe. Try it. That didn't really work. Also, I just realized the player ragdoll scales down when you die. That's kind of funny. That might be a problem even. Why? Okay, why is it? Why does it always go behind where the player is? It's the pilot getting ejected from the back. That's hilarious. It's actually not a bad idea. Like, what if I change the player model right when you die and then make like a big explosion particle so the pilot body just gets flowing out of the mech? Where is it? Like that, though. I think it's rotate. Oh, wait. It's rotating with the player's viewpoint. Okay. Isn't what I wanted. Let's do this differently. What if I used a logic measure movement? From the player to the trigger. Kind of thinking to maybe try to start making something mapping wise, but struggling to start. Any advice? It's a common problem. I mean, I'm sort of having the same thing right now. Is it that you're wanting to map in general, or that you want to map specifically for a challenge? I think that makes a big difference. And my advice would change depending on the context. Way to start disabled. Maybe a challenge, but you don't know if it's a challenge. So sometimes you want to practice your skills, you want to learn to map, but you don't have inspiration. It's tough. Because when I do get inspiration, it seems to come from the randomest places. Like, I can't really recommend how to get inspiration because it's something that just happens. When it doesn't happen, it can be really frustrating. That's sort of how I felt lately, actually. I would say, for starters, try to do some kind of unfocused activity, like go for a walk or go somewhere different or take a shower or something, and don't focus on what, like, figuring out what your idea is. Because if you let your subconscious sort of sift through the ideas, you might think of something that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise. And I would say look for, like, if you're trying to map something specifically, look for references in your environment. Maybe there's a building near you that you think is really interesting, or a view, or maybe there's a picture of something that you saw. Some Discords, I don't know, I don't really have this on my Discord. I should get one. But some mapping Discords will have like an inspiration channel where they'll post interesting photographs of old buildings or interesting places or sci-fi concept art or things. Um, it is a challenge. Someone would say mega. I kind of have an so you are doing Mega Mania. I kind of have an idea, but I'm struggling to start. It feels it's over when I open Hammer. It does take a lot of focus. I would. It's hard for me to give advice because I feel like these are the same problems that I have, like, I struggle with now, and I have struggled since I started mapping. Um, I would say, especially in the early stages, don't worry too much about completing the map, because even though it's really important to set a good scope, you can't say I'm gonna build like an entire universe in a 16-day challenge, and then you won't get to the end. Even though you know that you have to set your scope small, I would say when you start out, don't worry so much about scope because you need to get momentum going. So I would say focus on the thing that you want to make the most. Like if there's like a key scene or like an area you really want to map, or in my case here, what I'm doing is just testing out like funny concepts, because that's what inspires me the most. I would say start from whatever you want to do first, and don't worry too much about the scope right away. Once you start working on it and you have a concept, then you should constrain your scope. Because scope constraint is really important to not like overscope it and try to make something too big and burn out. But if you try to if you worry about that right away, then you won't even get started. You do need to like get it off the launch pad. I would say focus on like if there's like one scene, one building, one like view that you want to make, or one concept you want to try out. Do that first, and then once you've made a little bit of progress, then you can say like, okay, like how can I actually get this done? That's what I'm trying to do for myself right now, if I'm being honest, because I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm like, am I really going to make a map in 16 days? It's tough, especially with a time limit like that. But I know you can do it. So it's good to just like try to find that inspiration, find what will motivate you to make something and do that. I don't know if that's very helpful advice, but that's at least what I think of. I think I need to put this on a point template because I don't think it starts disabled. Yeah, into template. I think this might help. See if that worked. Pretty soon, I am gonna wrap up the stream, I think. I want to see if I can get this concept to work, and then after that, I want to take these ideas offline and see what really clicks for me. And then I'll be back on Saturday to do some more mapping. Oh, that didn't work. What did I do wrong? Really, I goofed something. Yeah, I need a measure reference for this. Yeah. There we go. That's a little bit better. I think I need to make the trigger a little bit taller. Like that. There we go. Okay, that didn't really work. This is so absurd. This is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever made. I don't know what it is about this challenge that brought out my whimsy, but like, I don't know. I've been too serious for too long. I need to make something stupid. Try that again. Okay. So, okay. Wrap things up for today. Before I give my final thoughts, I'm gonna find someone to raid. I don't know about a raid tonight. About this person. Maybe not. Maybe not. You guys want to watch some Deadlock? Raid someone playing Deadlock. Sounds good. But there are two states, whimsy and locked in. I am locked in. I'm not whimsical. Good luck with your map ideas. Hopefully there will be Mecha and Mega. Yeah, if not me, then someone else. But it seems like I have two very solid concepts now. It's just hard to pick between them. And I'll be doing some thinking on it, some sleeping on it. I'll be back at streaming Saturday at 3 p.m. And that time I'm going to work on the map. I'm not going to be able to stream for super long on Saturday because I will potentially have plans on Saturday evening. Tentative plans, not sure. But going to stream for a couple hours, do some more mapping, and then Saturday afternoon, evening, we can watch. My friend Sniffy is going to finish her playthrough of Alien Isolation. I'm super excited to see. Interested to see what you pick? Yeah, me too. I don't know. This one, I'm feeling kind of the same way I felt about Toon, but different. With Toon, I felt like I didn't really like any of my ideas, but in this case, I kind of like all my ideas, and I'm just having a hard time narrowing my focus down. But hopefully I can do some good thinking and come up with an idea on Saturday that's solid enough that we can start doing the actual mapping, the actual geometry, and come up with a cool level layout. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for your support, everyone. I really appreciate it. It's awesome to get to be able to work on these kinds of projects, but also share it with you guys and have a dialogue, have a back and forth. That's what it's all about. So really appreciate it. Yeah, in the meantime, we're gonna raid what's their name? Lirunes? Lirunes, I'm gonna say. They're playing Deadlock. So let's see how that's going. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. Have a good night. Bye-bye.